What's up YouTube, it's Willie here with Spaceman Aquatics bringing you another video. So as you can see, we're definitely not at the apartment anymore and we're definitely not in the kitchen, so we're gonna have to come up with something else. Just to go over the roster, things have changed. It's been a month since my last update. I've lost some fish and I just had to make some adjustments, but that's keeping fish, and really honestly that's life. So just to go over everything, we have two 55 gallons right now. We have two 20 longs, a 10 gallon at 55, or a 5.5 gallon and a 20 tall. Two of these tanks, the 10 gallon and the 5.5, are currently shut down. My beta fish had died and I decided to just go ahead and shut down the 5.5 gallon, and I'll just do something with that somewhat in the future. It's an extra tank. Maybe one of many extra tanks that I have just laying around at this point, courtesy of my best friend. She helps me hunt down tanks. Anyway, we also have the two 55 gallons. As you can see, there's a 55 gallon, two 55s right behind me. These 55 gallons only do have water in them. Only one of them is completely scaped and set up. We have the 55 gallon community tank, and we have an empty tank at the bottom that will be a future cichlid tank. Possibly getting some other cichlids besides the convict cichlids that we have now. We also have the 20 tall. That 20 tall has two angelfish in it. We have a 20 long that is a community tank. That community tank has guppies, some tetras, platies, and I think a couple mollies, and a albino bristlenose pleco. That is an upgrade from the 10 gallon tank that was an open top. We shut that one down and we combined it with one of my 20 longs that I had at the apartment. And that looks beautiful. Can't wait to showcase that tank in a few moments. And also my 55 gallon. To be honest, all my tanks that I've rescaped, I'm so proud of. I rescaped the 20 tall, the 55 gallon, and the 20 long, and in my opinion they look amazing. They're some of the most beautiful scapes that I've ever happened to escape, and they were all done on the fly. I didn't pre-plan them or anything, so we're gonna go ahead and showcase those in just a moment. But before we get into it, please comment, like, share, and subscribe before we go into the video so we can grow the channel. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so here's the new 55 gallon community tank. It looks completely different. To be honest, the setup that was in here before, the last scape, was really messy, and I'm not gonna lie, it was destroyed by those cichlids. Before I had the cichlids in there, before it was completely covered in, I think it's called temple plant in most pet stores. I believe it's a hygrophilia plant species. I'm not sure which one it is, but this tank was covered in it, and those cichlids ate it up and rooted up everything and dug up all the sand. This is the new 55 gallon community setup. I really enjoy this. It looks beautiful to me. This is one of the cleanest scapes that I've ever done, and to be honest, I don't spend a whole lot of money on my scapes. This is an expensive hobby. I usually just reuse anything else I have. A lot of the driftwood I find at local lakes, rivers, and I sanitize them and then put them in the tanks for the most part. Sometimes I buy driftwood at the store, sometimes I buy rocks at the stores, but honestly most of these rocks, most of the driftwood I found. The sand, of course, sand has been reused from the last 55 gallon. In fact, I didn't even take any of this. Well, I took a lot of sand out, but I didn't take the substrate completely out. I just took a good layer of sand out and put it in a bucket that I'm going to reuse for the 55 gallon cichlid tank. That's going to be at the bottom. So enough of the 55 gallon community. Let's go ahead and look at the new 20 gallon tall setup. So the new 20 gallon tall setup, somewhat similar to what it was before, but again, I feel like it looks a little bit more neater. It doesn't look as chaotic. It looks a little bit more natural to me. Again, in this tank, it's just the two angelfish. I believe that these angelfish are actually paired up. They spend a lot of time usually together. I'm not sure how to sex angelfish. Apparently, you usually can't tell until one is holding eggs, and then you can generally tell if it's a female or not. Obviously, the one holding the eggs will be the female, but I'm not sure if these are females or males. They tend to really enjoy each other's company. They don't fight, and usually they're right next to each other, especially when it's feeding time. They're not aggressive towards each other. They hang out with each other and swim with each other, and I usually catch them usually resting near each other as well. So it's just the 2 angelfish in here and the rubberlip pleco, which is MIA at the moment, but you know, that's a pleco for you. Let's go ahead and go over to the 20-gallon long. All right, here is the 20-gallon long. Another beautiful setup. So at this moment we have 3 newly scaped tanks. I wish I could have got the process, but I really set these tanks up in the midst of moving over the past 3 weeks, and I hate moving. And one of the things I hate most about moving is moving fish tanks, and really it's just because I don't want my fish to die. I don't want to break my tanks. I don't want to break any of the equipment. I don't want to lose any of the equipment, but it's really messy shutting these tanks down. You get water everywhere, crud everywhere, mulm from inside of the tank, inside of the filters, all over the place. You got to be careful not to break the lights. It's a mess, but this last move was one of the cleaner moves, especially with tanks, that I've ever had. And I think that these tanks, these new setups that I have are beautiful. They're some of the cleanest setups in scapes that I've ever done. And honestly, they were all on the fly. I didn't really think about any of these at all. To be honest, I do a lot of sketching on fish tanks anyway, so maybe this is just a sketch, or these are scapes that were burnt in my memory from, you know, sketching in between, you know, calls at work or something like that from years ago. But with that being said, guys, these are the new tanks. I don't really necessarily need to show the 20-gallon long for the cichlids that they're in now. There's no need to show those guys. They're healthy, they're doing good, but I just wanted to showcase these setups, these scapes. I think I really did a beautiful job. You guys let me know in the comments on YouTube. You guys let me know in the comments when I post clips on Instagram. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any suggestions on what to put in the tanks, especially for this new setup that's going to be for the 20-gallon. The 20-gallon long is also going to be rescaped. The one that has the cichlids in it currently, that's going to be rescaped in the future as well. So we have a 20-gallon long rescape in the future, and we also have a 55-gallon scape in the future, and a setup for a 10-gallon hospital tank. So we have more footage to go. We have more content to come here at Spaceman Aquatics. So stay tuned. Like, comment, share, subscribe, share the video on all social media platforms. I post on Twitter, I post on Instagram, I post on Facebook. So help me grow the channel. I'm out.